One of my favorite things about organizing in DSA is the immense diversity of comrades that we have. Like, I've met comrades who come from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, and apparently we have people who live in the boondocks, have yappy barking ass dogs,
Uh,
and are in regular contact with horses. So, rural organizing is on the agenda at
Hello,
the
everybody.
upcoming DSA National Convention. And I have with me tonight Comrade AJ, who drafted a very, very good resolution. I plan on supporting it about rural organizing. Red Guard Rat is driving. Zexplosion says hello, AJ. AJ is a very polite country gentleman, and he will say hello back.
So Zach, okay, so we might start this off a bit differently. So that user right there is a DSA office holder in the smallest town in the jurisdiction of any DSA office holder. So
Yeah.
if you mind
What
doing
office
me,
does he? What office do they
well,
hold?
well, if you go on the Wikipedia, I kind of want to guide you through this because it's going to blow your mind. Go on the Wikipedia of a DSA list of DSA office holders.
Okay, hold on.
Scroll.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm old. I'm not old. I'm actually 31, but still. List of DSA office. List of Democratic Socialists of America
Mhm.
public office holders.
Yep.
Okay,
And then
I'm there.
go down to city council or equivalent, I believe.
City councils and county commissions are equivalent. Okay.
First one, click on the municipality.
Altamont, Kansas.
I want to
It has
1,000.
1,061 people.
Yes. And actually, Zach, who just commented, you're the one who encouraged him to join an organization.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he is the one that told me to tell you that you are you BRG, you sir, are the one who encouraged Zach to join an organization.
I encourage the city councilman in Labette County, Kansas, which appears to be in the middle of no fucking where, to join an organization.
He wasn't a city
Holy shit!
councilman at that point. At that point, because this was a whole process, and that's kind of what we're going to go over, in my mind. So the way we pulled this off is he's not elected. He's not elected yet. He's going to have to be elected here in November, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of areas around the country that have it to where the mayor can appoint candidates. So if like a city councilman drops, which happens kind of frequently, like you might see it like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe. There's a place where a city councilman drops. You put a letter to the mayor, at like kind of asking, like persuading the mayor as to why you're the best pick. As to why you're the best pick. Zach persuaded the mayor, and we got him appointed when he was a DSA member. We didn't have to go
Wow.
through any electoralist shit just yet. He was open about his socialist politics, and he's running unopposed.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yes, and
So I
there
played a so
and
I played a minor role in getting somebody selected to be council person. Holy shit.
you
Oh,
got you roll into him joining DSA.
huh. Well, I'm glad to have you, Zach.
Yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
so
We
so
have
this is actually kind of where I was going. If we get two more people to run, which we have a few people in that city that might be willing able to do it, we can get a socialist majority.
Socialist Majority Caucus. I mean,
No,
oh,
like a socialist majority council on the city of Altamont.
an SMC of a
Yes,
good type.
yes,
Holy
and
shit.
this is the fun part is that there are places all across the nation like this that you don't even have to run on the Democratic Party because these are nonpartisan.
Mhm.
Zach isn't running on a Democratic Party ticket. He might get some help from them, but currently it is currently just DSA ran.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is
and guess what? We're not even a chapter yet. Southeast Kansas is not a chapter yet.
So you're about
We're
to
no
have
C.
technically an elected, but you're not even a real chapter yet. It's dope, man.
Yes.
I'm impressed. Y'all are
Yes.
hitting the shit running. So for a bit of background regarding rural organizing, because there's on the left in general, there's a lot of there's a lot of weirdness around rural organizing. People either think that they're innocent, Blair Mountainers, like the spirit of Blair Mountain never died, and there are just thousands upon thousands of rural people who are ready to take up the red flag of communism, which, of course, is not true. And people also
Mhm.
believe that rural areas are entirely insalvageable and must be glassed and destroyed and resettled with transplants from Los Angeles, which also is not true.
No,
So
those are the
here's my boy
suburbs.
Rob. Yeah. So here's my boy Robin D. Oh, we're going to be surrounding the suburbs from the countryside. I'm down for it. Surround the suburbs on two fronts, from the inner city and from the countryside. I'm down for it. So here's my boy Robin D. G. Kelly talking about a previous iteration of rural organizing. I actually saw him speak in St. Louis. He is a very, very compelling speaker and a very, very nice man. I highly recommend his book Hammer and Hope. It actually talks about the process of organizing in the South, both rural and in urban areas. Also, I love his bookshelf. You can tell a lot about a man by his bookshelf. You can tell a lot about a person in general by the bookshelf.
Reads a
Black
lot.
Against Empire. I literally have that same book in this giant stack behind me. My books are not as well organized as Dr. Kelly's, but let's see
Neither
what
is
Dr.
mine.
Kelly has to say. Let's see what Dr. Kelly has to say.
In Alabama, even before the Communist Party showed up, there was already a tradition of labor militancy, especially in the coal mines. Birmingham was a modernizing city under the heel of white supremacy. It's fairly cosmopolitan. You have formerly enslaved people, you have working class whites, you have an increase in European immigration. This is sort of the racial dynamic of what it meant to begin to organize a left movement in a state like this. The party begins in 1929. Now, here's the thing. They actually didn't go down there to organize Black workers. They went there to organize workers with the presumption that Black workers are much harder because they're more ignorant, they're kind of backwards. They were anti-racist, but they still believed that white workers were the vanguard. And they get down there and then they hold a meeting, and who shows up? A few white workers, but Black workers show up, have another meeting, gets bigger and bigger. All these Black workers, they end up having to turn to the people who came there, who showed up and kept showing up over and over again. Now, here's the big irony, is that spatial segregation meant that the white leadership could easily meet with white workers, but it was hard to meet with Black workers. And that meant that they really couldn't control the party. You had homegrown Black leadership that made decisions. And because of that, the party took on the characteristics of a kind of Black liberation movement committed to class struggle. And so what ends up happening is that lynching in the communist worldview becomes a class weapon. You know, it's a weapon of racism. They don't deny that part, but it's also a class weapon. And once you see lynching as a class weapon, then you can see poor Black people being corralled by the police for crimes they didn't commit as class war prisoners. The fact of the matter is that the party was winning. They were winning adherents, they were winning small battles, and it continues to grow. All that repression that we see in the early 30s in the rural areas kept them at bay to a certain degree, but it didn't succeed fully. It wasn't until the Cold War, where you have a national repressive apparatus, that a lot of the communists actually went underground and left the South. But they didn't all leave. A lot of them ended up in the civil rights movement. What's amazing to me is how, I've never found any evidence of someone being beaten by the police badly and saying, I quit. They keep coming back and keep coming back. And in many ways, I find that astounding.
So, long story short, it is possible to organize in the South and in the Midwest. As a matter of fact, I've been a long time proponent of the theory that the revolution will develop in major part out of the Rust Belt, out of these rural areas, out of Appalachia. And reading
Hawaii.
Kwame Ture, Hawaii, reading Kwame Ture, he constantly urge white organizers to organize where you're actually from. Like, stop moving to black neighborhoods in Chicago and Atlanta and New York. For one, you're carrying out gentrification, and then two, like, it's going to be a mind fuck because
Mm-hmm.
white supremacy in the United States is already implemented like a mind fuck on black people. Like, oh, I'm not as good as the white boy. Let him do everything. Like,
You
we have to actually like develop our own and come into our own as revolutionary organizers. And then, like, if people are always talking about the multiracial working class unite, the like, or individuals do not unite, organizations unite. So if there's no real organization of revolutionary minded white people, like, who exactly are black radicals like myself? Who exactly are black revolutionaries like myself? Like, who the fuck are we going to unite with? Are we just going to go to the holler and be like, all right, all you commies, come on outside? Like, that's not going to work.
yeah.
You're going to get shot
So
at.
so for Hampton, Fred Hampton's case, he aligned with the Young Patriots movement, which was a bunch of poor white people from the South who moved up to Chicago. That when you said don't move to cities and stuff, like to just organize where you're from, it's actually a good point because one, you're not always going to be the best to organize that environment, right? So if I moved to Chicago, like, dude, I didn't even know how to use public transit. Like, I drive everywhere. So like, how the fuck am I going to organize people up in Chicago or Portland? It's a complete different, like, it's not a different culture per se, but it's a completely like different like norms and everything, right? People live way differently there than they do here. So that's kind of why I put forth the resolution, and that's kind of why I wrote it this way, is because DSA, if we're dead serious about taking power, we have to organize rural areas. It's 25% of the population.
25%?
Yeah. I think it's anywhere between 20 to 25% lives out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not even saying out in the middle of nowhere. Organize like the small towns or the fucking MSAs, right? These are places that the Democratic Party has left behind for the most part, except for maybe a few like constituencies like in Vermont or Hawaii, for example, where Democrats still kind of leave these people behind, but these people still vote Democrat, right? There ain't nowhere, you may get one place in the rural South that votes Democrat, right? The Democratic brand is toxic out in the plains.
The black belt votes heavily Democrat. Like, if you look at, like, it's easy to, I think I've said this before, but like, it's easy to tell where the black people or where the college kids live in the South because all you got to do, usually what happens is, like, take Mississippi, for example. The part of Mississippi my grandma's from, the Mississippi Delta, she's from, well, a plantation. She actually grew up on a plantation a few miles outside of Itabena, Mississippi, which is right by Greenwood, which is where the term Black Power was literally invented by Kwame Ture, known at the time as Stokely Carmichael. But like, if you look at a map of Mississippi, hold on, if y'all think I'm playing, I'll show you. Mississippi.
I have a map in my head, but the audience might not.
I can't even spell fucking MISSISSIPP.
MISSISSIPP.
Come on, bro. You represented Missouri in the National Geographic B. You know this shit.
I represented Kansas in National Geographic B2, which is funny.
Holy shit, you did?
I didn't rep. I attended the state B.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I won my schools.
I'm also a Quizbook champion. So.
Okay. Yeah, I won my schools, then I won my states. Yeah, first black representative in Missouri, and then I went to our national. I got to meet Alex Trebek and everything.
Damn,
yeah, it was dope.
Shame you're from Missouri.
Oh man, shut the fuck up, Jay. Fucking Jayhawk.
Hey, well, you beat your ass. I don't want to hear it.
Oh Lord. Anyways. Oh, what the fuck? Why are you freezing? Come on.
Oh shit.
I just.
So are we kind of like going over the actual resolution itself?
Yeah, we'll do that. Hold on.
It's Mississippi. So. Yeah, so Delta is where Biloxi or not Gulfport is.
No, Biloxi is on the Gulf.
It is? Okay, so I was right.
This is that C-SPAN site being janky, but yeah. So you look here. This is the Black Belt. Let me see. Where is Leflore County? That's where my grandma's from. 68.7%.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. This is where all the white folks live, and then Biloxi's down here. But this is the Black Belt. And then usually like the little college towns that they're blue too. You look at the map of Missouri, like you can tell where Columbia, that's where Missouri is. That's blue. Like it's like
you look at actually Kansas has the same thing. If you look at where Lawrence, of course, is a big college town, where KU is. Lawrence is blue. There's also the where I went to school at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a bit of a swing city a bit, but for the most part, it can go either way, and it's a college town. It really depends on what year the election's on, because if it's a presidential election, more college kids are liable to vote and stuff like that. So
to your resolution. So I'm not going to show the forums on my stream because I don't want to hear people's fucking mouths. Oh my God, BRG is doxing everybody. Anyways, so it says, whereas rural organizing from the left has been left at the wayside from socialists and the left for decades now, with certain exceptions such as Vermont. Since Republicans have control of many rural areas in this country and Democrats have given up on presenting any opposition in many rural areas, it is DSA's duty to organize these areas in order to present an alternative to Republicans in these areas and take the fight to Republicans at their base. The UAW's recent victories in Kentucky and Tennessee, the UAW's successful strike against John Deere in 21, I remember that, and the successful defense of the abortion amendment in Kansas in 2022. You know what my state's governor did? Fucking Mike Kehoe. Like,
dude, he
literally just... This dude is like a fucking dictator. Like he literally
fucking. Oh my God. Okay, I have a story about this. So I work for local news. I already told you that. I saw the AP put out that story, and then since my local news station has jurisdiction over like Joplin, like the Jasper County, Newton County area, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Mike Kehoe. And I just was like, hey, can you guys like upload this to the digital, to like the online platform? And they did it. And even people who voted against the Proposition A were just like, nah, bro, that's stupid, because it's going against the will of the people. Like even Republicans were like, dude, he's like, I didn't support this, but
this is fucking Mussolini type shit. Like you can't just like 58% of people in my state like support this thing, and you can't just you're just gonna sign a bill basically saying fuck you guys. I tell you when you can have sick leave. That's fucking these contradictions.
The Supreme Court also say didn't the Missouri Supreme Court also say, nah, bro, it has to go, like it has to stay?
Yeah, I believe they did. And like these are contradictions that we can organize people. Like if you work for a fucking living, this impacts you. Like that's why I was laughing at all those dumbass so-called communists last month. Like, oh, the workers in the United States we don't campaign for raising the minimum wage. That is the quickest way to turn somebody into a communist. That is the quickest way to radicalize somebody.
Like, straight up, it is an insane thing that, in my opinion, the Missouri Democratic Party. Yeah, Justin, I know.
That's not Justin. James. That's my comrade Truman.
Yeah, Truman,
he's very
James.
proud of being.
I know where he's from. Joplin. I know where he's from. Oh shit! I didn't mean to dox him. Anyway, so it's a shame the Missouri Democratic Party, whatever remains of it, in the very least, aren't going around to everybody saying like, "Hey, did you vote for this shit?" Well, your governor literally just went against your will of the people. Like straight up, that's the biggest way to campaign on anything. It's just like, even if they didn't vote for it, right? If they voted against Proposition A, I saw motherfuckers in the comments being like, nah, dude, I didn't vote for this shit, but the people did, and the people's will need to be respected.
You know, one thing I love about the internet, like it's hilarious. Like you have this fucking white kid from the middle of nowhere talking like a black dude, like motherfuckers. Well, you still have your own inflection on it, but it's amazing how like AAVE is basically America's lingua franca right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. That's just
it's just a culture. Like at this point, it's just like what everybody else does with black culture.
Yes. Yeah. New Africa has won the culture victory. Black people have won the culture victory.
Yeah. I know. Because white people don't have culture. We used to. The Irish and the Italians especially used to. Even the Germans, like my family, we used to. It's not much. I'm not like.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I don't speak very well German.
Du habe nicht Kulte. Anyways. All right, so back to your resolution before we get on another tangent. I'm pretty sure both of us have ADHD, and nobody wants to hear either one of us ramble and ramble and ramble. So, these communities, rural communities, while being home to some of the worst white supremacist enclaves, are also made up of a diverse community of marginalized folks. This is something that, like, when people talk about rural America, like they always think that it's just like strictly white people. No, like, what do you think the reservations are? Like, there's no reservations in New York.
Not only the res, one of the least diverse places in the nation is Laredo, Texas, because there's so many Hispanic people.
Yeah, it's right on the border.
In Kansas, in my state, if you go out west, if you go to Dodge City, Garden City, Liberal, these cities are majority Hispanic.
You've got a town named Liberal?
Yep. I mean, so does Missouri. I know where that is. It's up by Lamar.
I don't know where any of these fucking places are, bro. I'm from St. Louis.
Exactly. That's why you leave this shit to me. You ain't organizing the boonies, I am.
Hell no. My grandma left places like that for a reason.
Exactly. And I don't blame her. One bit. I don't like.
So go back up there, like, yeah, I'm liable. I go back to Mississippi trying to organize this fucking old ass white dude. Well, I knew your Mayma. Welcome back, fellas. Here's the field. Absolutely not. All right, so yeah, the rural areas are really, really diverse. Not just like because like the migrant workers, like the Latino migrant workers. Yeah, Hawaii.
For me, like Hawaii is like the prime example of a state that's often forgotten, but it's like majority
so obsessed with Hawaii. Yeah,
because Hawaii is a example of rural America, and I am kind of a Hawaiian nationalist in a way, even though I'm not from Hawaii. I'm a Hawaiian nationalist in the sense that I want state like independence, like Hawaiian independence.
A Trotskyist that supports national liberation. No. Anyways, so do you support national liberation for Puerto Rico as well?
Mm-hmm.
And New Africa?
I support in the very least, I support self-determination of the, like, if they want to be a part of the United States, they can be a part of the United States. But Hawaii was stolen. I mean, so was Puerto Rico in a lot of ways. But for me, Puerto Rico is a bit like, I want Puerto Rico to determine its own fate. I don't want the U.S. to be involved with Puerto Rico. If Puerto Rico wants to become a state, they can become a state. If they want to become independent, they can become independent. That's not for me to say, right?
You support national liberation for New African people, for Black people?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I literally have Huey Newton on as the avatar right now. Like,
Stalinist. Anyways.
Well, actually, that's what I was talking about, is that down here is a lot of our stuff, like a lot of our, no, not Chicago Yugoslavs, unfortunately.
Yeah, y'all need to go. Yeah, y'all need to
go back to Bosnia.
Hillbilly narco Maoist praxis. He's AJ's not a hillbilly. The Kansas is flat. There's no hills.
Yeah, I'm not in the Ozarks. Or
AJ's a redneck, not a hillbilly. There's a difference.
I take that as a badge of pride. So a lot of the what was I even thinking? A lot of the stuff we're doing here in Southeast Kansas is based around what the Panthers did.
Really?
So that's why I like. That's why I have looked up to Huey Newton. I look up to Fred Hampton, right? Because these folks laid the groundwork. Because, especially back then, now Black people have a bit more than they did back then, but especially way back in the 70s, like, you don't have food programs. You have lack of access to healthcare. You have lack of access to education. Where in the United States is the biggest problem for that right now? One of the biggest problems. Rural areas. Like, rural hospitals are closing en masse. They're defunding the Department of Education, where I grew up at, which was Altamont. I don't live there anymore, so I'm not doxing myself. Education is the biggest industry. You lose the school, you lose the town. And rural grocery stores are closing en masse. So
would you say that's why
it,
like a lot of these rural areas, especially like in eastern Missouri, like a lot of these towns like Deloge, Potosi, Bonne Terre, Vandalia, Moberly, Fulton. A
Mhm.
lot of these towns have been like pseudo reinvigorated by prisons. Like they're not going to put a
Yeah,
prison in St. Louis because chances are the people that are getting sent to the penitentiary are from
and
St. Louis. So if they
and this is
escape,
actually what I was going to go after. Is that with the immigrant farm workers, for example, who do you think is going to replace the immigrant farm workers once they all get deported?
prisoners. Yeah,
Prisoners.
yeah,
Exactly. That's the
slavery,
only labor
slavery,
force that
labor.
we have. That's the only labor force that we have that is capable of meeting that need.
Yeah, like if you look at Louisiana, I don't know. Are you familiar with the story of Angola Prison?
Yeah, yeah. It was literally the name of Angola. Literally came from the plantation.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now it's a Louisiana State Penitentiary, and they've literally got those dudes out there. Like, mind you, they have machines to do all of this shit, but to degrade them and show them, like, look, we own your fucking ass. They literally have these guys out here, like the fucking 20s and
mm-hmm.
30s, out here picking cotton, picking tomatoes, watermelon,
Especially African men.
okra. Yeah, yeah,
It's
nearly
a it's
all
a
New
it's a
African men.
it's a white it's a it's a white like fetish for a lot of these people.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they like seeing us work in the fields. That's literally what we were brought over here for, and they like seeing us do that shit.
and I mean I'm white, but that's
No
besides the
shit.
point.
I've never met a
Um,
black dude
yeah,
named AJ. Your
so
last
so
name.
James Truman, actually, that's kind of why I sent you that article there earlier. Zoran modeled his grocery store plan off of what we done here in rural Kansas. Actually, some of it is in southeast Kansas under my jurisdiction. Um, so I don't know if you still have the article I sent you that I wrote. There's a
No,
town called Erie, Kansas, and another one called St. Paul that have city-run grocery stores, or at least city-owned grocery stores, because there's a difference between owned
I
and
see it.
ran. Yeah,
You wrote
and
this.
a lot of people were like, "Oh, why, like it's going to lead to like food deserts or like, like bread lines and shit." And it's like it's not. Every time I see a Fox News motherfucker being like making fun of city-run grocery stores, I'm just like, dude, you do not know your base.
Yeah,
Erie, Kansas
it's
is
like
full of Fox News watchers.
yeah. Then
It's
they
full,
turn shit off. Then they turn the shit off after degrading and crying about welfare mothers and stuff, and go literally to the city-owned store.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Now there is an issue, and the one of the issues is that the city couldn't run it. The city owns it. So Zoran, New York has more resources than we do. That's straight up. Like it has a budget like 100 million times probably more than Erie, Kansas does. Zoran's idea would be able to completely probably city own run it. It's only 5 of them. Erie, Kansas, they have to lease the building out to an operator. But the city still owns the building. So if the city really wanted to, if the store went under, they could just find a new operator.
So this is literally like this sounds like some shit the Black Panthers would love.
Exactly.
And it's a shame that the Young Patriots aren't around anymore. Of course, they would obviously have to change their name and kind of not use the Confederate flag.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
saying. They might want to change their logo.
yeah, but like yeah, like that is something that we really need to come back. Like there is a basis for this type of organizing. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's not of course it's going to be radically different in form, but like you still have poor people in rural areas. That's why I was so confused and flabbergasted looking at the vitriol of certain people who call themselves communists. Like it's like we're supposed to be for all the poor. We're supposed to be for everybody that works for a living, right? So yes, I've never said that. Yes, racism is a thing in rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
Extreme
It is.
racism. I literally have family members who were lynched, but
Yeah.
we have to be dialectical. We have to be
Yeah.
dialectical, and we have to
Because
we can't.
I have a few
Go ahead.
stories about this.
Oh dear.
A
I hope
lot
they're
of
not
it
about
is like
lynchings. I don't want to hear
they
about lynchings.
not lynchings. Just how black people are perceived, especially in like we organized with this one lady. Her name is Tana Johnson. Out of I'm not going to say where she's from, but So the Lebec County Commission de-recognized Juneteenth as a local holiday, as a county holiday. And of course, me being a white person, I didn't want to show up like the white savior or anything else. I didn't want to do that. So I did. This woman is a fantastic organizer. Like, she is an amazing activist and organizer. She runs the Southeast Kansas Juneteenth Foundation. She literally, part of it was because some of the commission was uneducated about it, and then part of it was because they have bigotry, right? Tana literally told me that if she went to like Mountain Valley or like Altamont or something, like one of our towns in Lebec County, if she wanted to go eat, people just stare at her. Like, they, like, it may not come from like bigotry, but like, you don't see Black people every day there, right? So it's just like, it's a thing that needs to be addressed.
It's interesting because a lot of those small towns, they at one time did have a Black population. Like after the Civil War, there was they were called exodusters. Some of my relatives were involved in this as well, but like they basically left the South. It's from the biblical book of Exodus. Like, if the South fucking sucks, let's go try to make a new life for ourselves out in out in Kansas. But also like
there was a Black town in Kansas. I think it's a ghost town now, but I keep forgetting what it's called. It starts with an N, but it was up northwest Kansas.
The thing is, like, the thing that gets me about these sundown towns is these are not places where anybody would want to be in the first place. These are places where you leave, not where you move to. Like, you know what? I'm just going to pack up and move to Altamont, Kansas. A funny story about like the Panthers free food programs, donations, but like donations. Also, like the Black Panthers were like beloved of celebrities. Like, celebrities loved the Panthers. They wouldn't join, but like there was one actress in particular. Her name was Joan Seberg, and she would write a check to the Panthers every month. And the FBI found out, and they literally hounded her to death. She got pregnant, and like people put the rumor out. The feds put the rumor out that she had gotten pregnant by, I believe it was Messiah Hewitt. But yeah, like this famous white actress has gotten pregnant by a Black dude, a Black Panther, a Black communist, mind you. And she eventually took her own life. But that's the feds.
I had a talk with actually, his name is Peter O'Neill. He was
former head of the KC Panthers. Yeah.
Yes. He lives out in Tanzania now. I messaged him on Facebook actually, and I asked him some of this stuff that you were asking right now, Truman. It's just like, because we wanted to start these programs down here. I kind of asked, like, how did you do this? And he was like, donations. It was literally like, we partnered with churches, we partnered with the community, and they donate some of the breakfast stuffs, right?
Also,
like that's how they did it.
Yeah. And also, like, on the West Coast, like, they would literally, like, if you didn't donate to the breakfast program, to any of the other programs that needed food and other supplies, like, they would literally put your name in the paper, which was actually read by the community, and they would be like, "Don't shop here. They hate Black people. They hate your organization." And they would organize the community to picket. Of course, nowadays they would probably get you an extortion charge, but yeah. They were very creative.
Mm-hmm. It was also God damn it, I was trying to think. Of course, Pete got chased out of the United States by the feds, but
a lot of people ended up driven into exile.
Especially in rural areas. Altamont has 5 or 6 churches down 1061, right? Mm-hmm. You think there would be poverty in a small town where the gospel is so spoken of, right? You'd think there wouldn't be. But alas, in many of these places, not every one of them, and this doesn't go for every church congregation either, because there are church congregations that do put in the work. A lot of them don't put in work for the community, right?
Yeah. A lot of them are parasitic on the community. They just take people's, I wanted to say dues money. They just take people's tithes and offering. The pastor buys a new Cadillac every year or something similar. And meantime, everybody else gets fucked.
One chicken noodle dinner like a year, right?
Yeah. Like, meantime, the pastor lives in a fucking mansion on an acreage.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a mother and kids who can't afford, who makes $2.25 an hour as a waitress. Like,
that's not what Jesus wanted. Jesus said, "Sell your cloak."
That's kind of what we're trying to fight, because we haven't cracked the the religious aspect of it yet. Not that it's came up much with our organizing, but
Yeah, when you're doing actual organizing, you don't have time to sit up and argue about religion like internet leftists do.
I mean, we do have liberation theologists in our group, but
Oh,
I mean,
I fucks with it.
it's John Brown. Like, it's the land of John Brown down here. Like, we have to have some of it. We
Have
just
you ever
don't
seen?
like.
Did you see his sword? Don't they like have his sword at like the state house or something?
I don't think so. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
somebody
It might be at a museum. It might be up in
steal it.
Osawatomie.
Steal it. It's yours now.
I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
Yeah, no. Like, I've seen the Tragic Prelude. That's up in Topeka.
oh yeah, that big mural.
Yeah, the big mural. It's the
Don't
fun fact.
they-
It's the only mural it's the only thing in a state house that actually. Well, it's the only mural of a traitor, of a person convicted of treason, in any state. Like like in a state government building.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
All right, so
Because-
back to your well, go ahead.
Sorry, John Brown got hung by people who betrayed the country.
Yeah, Robert
Right.
E. Lee was, I believe, in charge of that.
Yeah, Robert E. Lee didn't get hung. Fucking Nathan Bedford Forrest didn't get hung.
Nope,
Freaking-
he was
No, Jefferson Davis didn't. These men killed more Americans than John Brown could ever dream of, and they were never punished.
I don't think.
They
I
were
think
never
John Brown said. I think John Brown said in his interview that he had never. I think he had hacked a couple people to death in a raid
Yeah.
or something.
And
Like, he didn't.
Potawatomi.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Have you seen the Good Lord Bird?
Yes, I have. That's yeah, it's a very good show.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's hilarious. It's like a black historical comedy. But
Mhm.
anyway, so back to your resolution. I mean, I dig it. Like, we have to organize, and I don't just say I dig it because I'm a Maoist and I think that everybody in DSA should be sent down to the countryside. But like, it's actually like it actually shows creative thinking. Like, we can't just silo ourselves up. Oh, if you're from a rural area, move to the closest big town and start organizing there where you have no roots. Like, that's why people get burned out so easily. Like, when you have your family, when you have like people you've grown up with around you, like, it's a lot easier and you get connections that way. Whereas if you pack up and move to LA or someplace, I mean, you do develop a community eventually, especially if you join an organization like DSA. But like, for a lot of rural people, for one, that's not like, people can't afford that shit. Like,
No, especially
to
since there's no
pack
public
up-
transit.
yeah, like a lot of people can't even afford to move out of their fucking parents' house, and they're like, they're in their mid-20s. Like, a lot of people cannot afford that.
Yeah.
Because like,
I know.
shit's hard out here, especially in cities. Like in New York, if I recall correctly, it's pretty common. If you're from New York, you and your parents share an apartment. Like, you have to. So
You have to look or you're on the street.
yeah. So a lot of people have that whole, like, they have the whole transplant brain thing. Like, people were talking about after Zoran won the primary. Oh yeah, so when are we moving to New York? When we, like people can't even afford to get across town. How the fuck are they going to move to one of the most
Like,
expensive
bruh,
cities in the world?
like, you're gonna need 5 people in a 1-bedroom apartment in order to
Yeah,
afford that shit.
I'm not living in a shoebox with 5 other stinky ass dudes. Absolutely not.
Yeah, especially if
would-
they're anarchists because they sweat a lot.
Yeah,
At the
you know,
gym.
the anarchists in New York. The anarchists in New York back in the 80s, they were able to like establish a squat or something like that. And,
Yeah. They took. Yeah, I saw your conversation with Seed about this. Yeah. No, so like, it is. So how I kind of started was I sat and watched, right? So for me, I didn't know how to get anything started. What I did was I would zoom in on Topeka. So I'd go to Topeka DSA over like Discord or Zoom and watch how they kind of like organized, right? How they did things. And then actually, like a lot of, because Southeast Kansas, we're setting up county branches. We're setting up because straight up, it's a night. We have the area the size of Rhode Island, with a tenth of the population. So it's a 90-minute drive to get across the
good for guerrilla
our
warfare.
jurisdiction.
Well, no, not really good for guerrilla warfare because it's all flat.
Well, it's good for tanks, and you could totally blow up a bunch of tanks. But let's not.
Guerrillas don't have tanks.
Yeah. Well, guerrilla war was fought in Kansas, as I have mentioned.
Yeah, in the woody
because
parts.
You are from Missouri, so. Anyway, let's not get off track.
We had that too.
We have an area that's 90 minutes long to get to one part to the other. So we have to meet in a central location, and we have to meet online. So the idea is and I took this from like Chicago and New York actually, to establish branches, because we have autonomous branches that can kind of function on their own local projects. I ain't got to drive 90 minutes all the time. I ain't got to drive to freaking, like, I don't know, bumfuck nowhere for 3 hours of my life just for one meeting.
Yeah,
You live in the age of the internet.
My fucking back would be hurting after that. And that's another thing. Like DSA really needs to do more hybrid meetings because, like you said, it's not, for a lot of people don't have cars. They can't afford now. A lot of people, for whatever reason, they have disabilities, so they cannot drive. So I think hybrid.
People who can drive have to drive a long time.
Yeah, and that's murder on your gas. That's murder on your vehicle maintenance. The shit's expensive. And like, people really aren't going to feel comfortable participating in an organization that just generates expenses. So like, why can't we hold meetings in the comfort? Like, why do we have to be in person for everything? And that's like, especially tying it into rural organizing. Like, when you live in a dispersed area, like southeastern Kansas, like Nebraska, like, it's simply not feasible. It's simply not feasible. People either can't afford it, or it's too much of a pain in the ass. And I'm personally
sometimes the internet isn't feasible either, but it's a lot better of an option if you have nothing.
Yeah. Like every meeting for Omaha. Oh yeah, we have the former co-chair. We have the current co-chair of Omaha DSA, and like
say hi to Ryan for me. Ryan from Nebraska was an organizer with Topeka, and he helped I think reform Omaha. I'm pretty sure.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, look at all the children of the corn in chat. Anyways, do y'all grow corn out there?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all got cows?
My family doesn't, but we have cows out here.
Oh.
We have armadillos that just died in the middle of the road. Like,
armadillo? Don't those things carry the plague?
They carry lupus.
You.
Yeah. Squirrels carry the plague, but yeah, there's a saying here amongst some of the leftist people out in Kansas is like, the middle of the road is only for dead armadillos and turtles who are too scared to leave their shell.
Well, I'm not a turtle, and I'm certainly not an armadillo.
It's pretty much you're either dead or you're a coward. Like, that's who takes the middle of the road.
You ever seen a prairie dog?
Not in the wild. I've seen them, like, we've had them in, like, when I was at Pitt State, there's a group called Nature Reach that had them in like a little cage. They're very cute.
Oh,
they make a sound called a woohoo sound. It's actually very cute.
Anyways, I'm curious. I'm not a country person. I'm curious about life. I'm curious about lifestyles in the rural areas of our country. These are important things for leftists to know. So, back to your resolution. So, it's really, really solidly theoretically founded theoretically, and I really like.
I wrote it in like 3 days.
Okay, I really like the fact that you brought up.
The first resolution I think that was put up on the discussion board, because I wrote it in like 2 or 3 days, because it was just like it's fucking common sense, right?
Yeah.
Like,
common sense is uncommon, especially in DSA.
Like it's a big weakness DSA has.
Yeah.
DSA has that it should have already been doing.
People should have really been doing a lot of things, but it takes it takes comrades like yourself to bring up, like, hey, these are my people. This is where I live. These are the problems that we have. That's why I really like DSA as an organization. Like, if there's a problem or if there's a gap that needs to be filled, well, I just said a gap that needs to be filled. This big ass gap in my teeth. Anyways, like if there's a problem that needs to be solved, all you have to do is draft a resolution, present it, and be like, look, this is what's going on. This is how DSA can intervene. You say that we're the largest socialist organization in the country. Here you go. Let's prove it. And if you whip strong enough, and if enough people have won over to your argument, like you won me over, like I'm literally planning on voting for this thing at convention because of the argument that you made.
We've gone over so far too. So
okay.
So like for me, one of the things I've done this is that a lot of like the discussion around that Zach brought up a good point. The hammer and sickle, literally the sickle is for fucking farmers. Like but a lot of the misconception, especially around rural organizing DSA, is that it's always the South. They always want to organize the rural South, right? And that's important, but they will try to put that approach to like here, or they'll try to put that approach in Appalachia, right? It's not going to work. It's not a one size fits all thing. You have to adapt it to your.
A lot of people don't know that Appalachia, like, is huge. Like, it's not just the South. It's like there's parts of New York that can be considered Appalachia. The Pittsburgh is literally considered the capital of Appalachia, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. There's a lot of variations within Appalachia too.
Yeah,
like you had the old like Ulster Scots who lived up in like West Virginia, but if you go down south to like Georgia or North Carolina, there's a lot more African people there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a one size fits all thing. And recently, actually in Appalachia, there's this huge, I think, like flooding in West Virginia, right? And this was literally a small town. Got no help from the state government. Got no help from FEMA. Got nothing. Nothing. They just let it die.
Yeah.
And I remember what you said. I remember what you said about St. Louis. When St. Louis had that tornado, who was out there first? Or you guys weren't out. I wouldn't say you guys were out there first, but like right immediately you said, gather the fucking chainsaws. We're going out there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what DSA did. DSA came out the second day. But yeah, it was literally the left and the masses themselves. Like by the time we got to a lot of these neighborhoods, the masses had already they had already taken care of the elders. They'd already like assessed damage. Like what people don't understand about the hood is that there are a lot of jackleg contractors, jackleg electricians. Like people know how to do this stuff. I imagine it's the same in rural areas. Like
we had a incident kind of recently in Carl Junction, Missouri. I wouldn't consider rural. It's just a suburb of Joplin, right? But
that's
it got
rural.
hit.
That to me, that's rural.
No, Joplin to me is a huge city.
Come to St. Louis. I'll show you a huge city.
Well, okay. Well, it's because it's where I grew up. I grew up in a town of 1,000 people, for crying out loud. Like Joplin to me was paradise. Let's not get over.
Joplin is paradise.
I don't mean paradise. Like Joplin is where we would go for activities. Like, and that's an hour drive.
Type of activities you got going on out there. Never mind. I'm going to stop my big city chauvinism. I was like, what type of activity? Shooting meth? Anyways.
Actually, well, that's what 417 is called now. 417 is the code for meth, and 417 is the area code of Joplin. So let's not. Anyway, Carl Junction got hit by a very small tornado, right? And when I went out there to cover it for the news, it was like these freaking electric lines were like snapped like twigs. But literally immediately after, like the community just came together, just like, alrighty, like even my house wasn't affected. I'm gonna get out there with chainsaw and start cutting down some fallen trees and stuff like that. Like it is literally the same shit. Yeah,
because like I remember reading in some article or other, but like, look, if the idea and like there's a lot of similarities, I think, like at least mentally and culturally between majority Black, majority Latino inner city neighborhoods and rural areas. Like there's a whole community mindset. Like of course, yeah, there's lumping bullshit, people stealing, robbing from each other. But like when major disasters happen, like what happened in St. Louis, what happened in Joplin.
I
Like
remember that
people
shit.
like you, yeah, yeah.
I was
People are like,
11.
yeah, people are like, you know what? Like these are my people. They do the same for me. Like the state ain't coming, the feds ain't coming. Don't nobody give a shit about us because we don't live in New York or L.A. So well, even if we do live in New York or LA, we're not considered part of it. New York and LA, that's only the glitzy downtown areas. People in like the gritty working class areas, they apparently don't count. So you know what? Only us can save us. That's the
Yeah,
mindset. That's
exactly.
what I really like.
And part of it has stemmed from, of course, racial division throughout the United
Mhm.
States, throughout history too. But like, even like, I think if we're talking like the Black Lives Matter stuff, right? You had freaking Crips and Bloods uniting. You had Crips and Bloods uniting with each other because
Yeah,
they had like enough shit. Like there's just like enough of this shit, right?
yeah. The primary contradiction had no longer been like the whole gang bullshit. The primary contradiction was like, there's a major problem in our community. We're all black people. We have to get together and come help
And that's
solve it.
why that's how gangs form, right?
Yeah,
Like a lot of the gangs from like if you're talking like Irish gangs or Italian or even the Polish gangs in New York, right? These didn't stem because they stemmed because they wanted to help the community, because at the time those groups were discriminated against. Like we were talking about the South too. Italians were hanged in Louisiana.
hmm
They used to hang
yeah.
Italians
No,
in Louisiana.
no, they only did it
So
once. I don't think. I think that only happened once. It was a mass lynching because I think somebody that was in the proto mafia was accused of shooting a cop, but it wasn't like a frequent thing. Like they used to hang a black person somewhere in this
yeah,
country every day.
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like if you're
Yeah,
discriminated against in this country, you you have to look out for each other, and that's how gangs kind of formed. Of course, gang violence is a bad thing, and that needs to be addressed. But you address that through what we're doing, like through after school programs, through like universal breakfast programs and stuff like that. And in fact, gangs will even sometimes provide like backpacks for the community. Like let's
I
not.
actually just, I actually just finished a book about the old disciples, which ended up becoming like the gangster disciples. But finished a book about them, like how they rose to prominence, and they worked a lot with the Black Panthers, and even after Fred Hampton was murdered, like they were deeply, deeply involved in community work under David Barksdale, and yeah, it was amazing how like he literally had these people, these hardcore gang members out serving breakfast to little kids in the morning. They were
Mhm,
protesting to get jobs for people in the community, all types of stuff.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, but
Yeah, that's
Chicago
kind of
gang,
what
yeah, Chicago
Chicago,
gang
like
culture is like something like Chicago has always been gangland. Like,
Rainbow Coalition was literally had gangs in it. Like
mhm. Yeah,
like
the
they
Young
stopped
Lords were a
fighting.
gang.
Yeah, like Young Lords were, even the Brown Berets, from what I know, they were right. But even the Panthers had street gangs that like they. That's why Fred Hampton was such a threat. Fred
Mhm.
Hampton was 2 years younger than me when he died. I'm 23. He was 21, dude. Like like that man was an organizer. And
Yep, that's why he was considered to be dangerous. That's why they had to kill him.
exactly, if you're able to unify people not along the race, like the race thing didn't matter as much. It was a clear, like we all have these fucking problems, right? We all have these problems that stem from the bourgeoisie and these class contradictions brought under by capitalism. The race thing gets thrown out entirely, pretty much. Now that doesn't mean racism won't exist,
The
but
race thing is never going to be thrown out entirely in America.
it's never, but it can be mitigated, right? It's like if I'm standing for my black brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters will stand for me, right?
I'm your brother.
Yeah, you're my brother. You're a fucking
Oh
comrade. Like that's why I
no, sir, we are not relations.
you're not my cousin. But yeah, if you stand with me, if I stand with you, you stand for me, right? Like that's how it goes.
Yeah,
That
that's
you can't.
solidarity.
Yeah, it's
Solidarity
literally
has to
so.
be. Solidarity can't just be rooted in vibes, though. It has to be rooted in the
And
common
that's
struggle.
why this, like, what did the Palestinians ever do for the Black Lives Matter movement shit pissed me off, because it's like, dude, it doesn't fucking matter. An injury to one is an injury to all. And this is actually how
you know where a lot of the beef between like certain ignorant people on the internet and like Palestinians comes from. It's
Right.
like because a lot of these people they think that I grew up hearing shit like this. A lot of these people think that Arab and on the East Coast Indian immigrants get like paid by the government to buy up gas stations and shit, which of course is a lie. But
it's also kind of crazy.
like it's like envy. It's like why white people vote against stuff that's to their own benefit. Why poor white people vote against stuff that's for their own benefit because they want to hurt black people. They like
No,
Americans have an immense crab. Americans have an intense crab in the bucket mentality. They do not want to see their neighbors doing even semi well. I would not consider being on food stamps to be doing well, but if you want to piss an American off, convince them that somebody is getting something that they ain't getting.
Oh no,
And that's
no,
any any American, white, black, or otherwise.
So this actually, FD Signifier recently did a stream where he discussed this with Zoran, right? Had Zoran said some things like, oh, this will help the black community especially, the white community wouldn't have been for it, even though it had been popular. Because
white people do not want black people to have anything that they don't themselves not getting. Like if he had flat out said, and that's where like he's also being criticized from a lot of people on the black left. Like, what the fuck are you going to do for us? And like so, yeah, he's gonna have like he's having to navigate this this minefield of competing. Like the Italians are already pissed at him because he flipped off a statue of Christopher Columbus.
Okay, okay, with that we need to get we need to get the Irish out and have like an old white ethnic brawl.
Yeah, let them fuck each other. Yeah, let them fuck.
Irish.
Yeah, I'm black. You're German. We ain't got no dog in that fight. Let them slaughter each other. Yeah. Anyways,
but I think we're getting a bit off topic here, but
that's all right. That's what streams are.
Both
of us have ADHD, bro. We're good.
It shows how deep racial vitriol really is in this country. Is that even if it's something that benefits you, right? If a black person's getting it, you don't want it, and that's the stupid thing. It's a stupid bigoted thing.
Yeah, which is hilarious because like white people, white people are also the majority of this country, but like white people are the biggest recipients of welfare and food stamps and all this other shit.
It's not even just white people; it's the billionaires who are the biggest welfare queens in the nation through subsidies.
Yeah, like they literally like people understand like they literally hand out money to these people. That's what tips are. Yeah. All these they call different names. They call them different names, but it's like basically like that's why you have billionaires that don't pay no taxes. If they are involved in philanthropic work, it's a tax dodge. And yeah, so you have people that are. I saw on Twitter earlier.
Response to that would be? You know what R&R's response to that would be? If you want to take our money,
wait. Explain what R&R is. A lot of people think like you know what? Do you want people to think you're referring to the?
R&R is a Marxist-Leninist Trotskyist caucus of DSA. It's called Reform.
A Marxist-Leninist Trotskyist caucus.
Mm-hmm. R&R's response, if R&R were in power, would be if you want to have the people's money, like if you want to take taxpayer money, we're nationalizing your ass, right? R&R wants to nationalize Fortune 500.
Ooh.
So actually, that's how I kind of joined R&R. Is that I was kind of interested with what the PSL was saying during the presidential election about nationalizing the Fortune 100. And I was like, oh, R&R wants to nationalize the Fortune 500. Okay, here we go. So
a lot of people don't know that PSL also has a Trotskyist heritage.
Yeah, they do. Workers' World Party came from Marcy, and Marcy was a Trotskyist.
Yeah, but that's why I laugh at like those people, like certain, and a lot of people that are like rah about PSL online have never attended a single cadre training course. Don't know anything about PSL, but they're just like, yeah. That's why the internet is both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. I've had good experiences with PSL. And I've had bad experiences with PSL. And
the PSL in St. Louis is lovely. They were out there. They were holding. They're still holding down. That No,
PSL
St.
in
Louis.
Springfield, Missouri. No. I've encountered PSL in Springfield, Missouri from Springfield. They're also pretty good.
I love how you said like I encountered, like you ran across some type of rare cryptid. But yeah, they were like they were out like the first day, literally the day after the storm. They were out there, and they're out there doing work, and like it wasn't for their aggrandizement. Of course, like people do, like their goal is to recruit people into their organization because that's the purpose of any organization. That's the purpose of DSA. That's the purpose of PSL. That's the purpose of any org. But and then they were out those horrible storms in Kerr County, Texas. They were out, and people knew that they were PSL. People knew that they were socialists, and that's why, like I said the other day, like if it was up to me, like I would put a huge chunk of DSA's budget towards mutual aid work like that. Like that is building goodwill for socialists, and people like, oh, this is charity. Who gives a shit?
Especially in rural areas. Like let's take that West Virginia town, for example. I forgot what it is called, but the federal government didn't step in. The state government didn't step in. They're going to take what they can get, right? Yeah. Like if it's a socialist doing it, it's a socialist doing it. And to be honest, a lot of the issues with rural areas, especially surrounding socialism, is because they haven't met a socialist before.
Yeah.
They haven't met one. They agree with us on a lot of shit. It's just that they hate the word. And if we are open about it, we destigmatize it.
Mm-hmm. Can you get DSA? What would our matching uniforms even look like? We look like fucking Zoomer and Millennial Guardian Angels.
Just Glocky.
A red, oh, Jesus Christ.
I found out about Glocky. Don't you get me started on Glocky.
How the fuck? How haven't the prairie dogs or whatever weird creatures chewed up your fiber optic? How are you in the boondocks and you still have time to be terminally ill? Don't you got a cow to milk?
No, I do not. Armadillos, I call them dillers, actually. But armadillos are the ones that would actually fuck up your
countryest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, we call them armadillos.
Jesus,
but I know people won't understand that. Huh?
Y'all all talk like my grandma.
Southeast Kansas is also crossroads of the South, baby. So, like, we're not technically Southern, but we have a lot of Southern influence. So,
y'all are basically right. Y'all are right by Oklahoma and Arkansas.
Well, we don't border Arkansas, but we border the Ozarks. So, like, which is another thing that we're going to have to dive into here. So, if you look on the resolution, it is that the working group is supposed to shape the agricultural policy of DSA.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of had a bit of a preliminary thing, and it's really bad because DSA Ozarks didn't take the lead on this as much as I wish they would have. There
I didn't even know we had a DSA Ozarks.
Well, there used to be one. Okay, so there used to be one. It folded, and then Southeast Kansas kind of took over a bit of the operations in Joplin for a little bit. And then when I found out DSA Ozarks came back, we kind of just left it to them. We still do stuff over there, especially Palestine organizing, but there's these things called CAFOs. They're concentrated concentrated agricultural feeding operations, I think is what the initial is. Pretty much it's just a factory farm. And they're
fuck factory farms,
bro. And and in fact, there's this huge community outrage around like Monette or Pierce City, Missouri area, because 4 of these motherfuckers were supposed to open in the area. Four factory poultry farms, or so chicken.
Do y'all have any idea? Like, I know AJ does, but like, drive through. Like, there's a pervasive like when you drive through Arkansas or any of those other states with huge amounts. There's like a persistent stench in the air. Those are from those factory farms. Those things stink.
Some of it is Dodge. If you ever go through Dodge City smells like cow shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like they literally just cram. Like there's literally cows and chickens that have never touched dirt. Yeah. Never. They spend their entire lives cased in concrete.
Yeah, and I think some of some of Dodge City is just Dodge City is a cattle town. Like not all of that it's a factory farm, but if you ever go and you see these like massive like warehouse kind of like buildings, you'll see these like packed with turkeys. Like if I went over right now to like Lawton, Kansas, or like Lawton, Missouri, or whatever the hell it's called now over north of Joplin, you'll see these like massive things that have like turkeys in them. But these concentrated, these concentrated agricultural feeding operations, I'll just call them CAFOs. These CAFOs, they are detrimental in a lot of ways, not just for animal welfare, but chicken shit. It can give you asthma. It can poison the water. I have chickens actually out in my backyard right now. A lot of the ground, and granted they can just walk around with their free range more so. A lot of the ground is just dirt because like the phosphorus
It's poisonous.
in their poop is just it kills.
AJ, I heard like
it poisons the water supply.
Chicken shit is bad for you.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah. Chicken shit is bad for you. I got the gist. Chicken shit is bad for you.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it poisons the water. Especially if you're in a rural area, like a drought area. I can't tell if people can hear me or not because it's like cutting out on my.
We can hear you. You're good.
Okay. They take up a lot of water too because you need water for chickens, right? You need to water the chickens, and so if you're already in a drought area like Monette and Pierce City was, then that just adds to the strain of water supply. Not only that, but the jobs they provide. If the factory farm just decides to just up and leave, your town's dead. Like Noel, Missouri is a good example of this. They had a Tyson chicken plant. Now, Noel can rely on tourism, but Noel, Missouri just had a huge economic loss with that Tyson plant leaving. Yeah. And that's kind of why and they also outcompete the small farmers too. See, the thing is, these factory farms, they can afford to have a cow die. They can afford to have a cow die, right? They can afford to have a couple, like 10, 20 chickens die, right? But if you have a family farm especially, you can't afford that. You can't, because that you put in thousands in like vet care, food, water. You don't have that overhead cost. That's why farming and ranching, especially when it becomes difficult, they have the highest rates of suicide, or one of the highest rates of suicide in profession.
Yeah, because especially if your family has sunk generations into this land, and like there was actually like I don't know if you've ever heard of the Birchers and like all those nuts that were running around in the 80s, but like because there was a farm crisis back then, like people were defaulting on their farms, and there was actually a massive upsurge in right-wing uprising and conspiracy theories, many of which were like extremely anti-Semitic, but like so you had like parts of the country like where you lived, like they were hotbeds. Like you literally had militias out there of angry former family farmers that were literally ready to throw down with the fucking feds. All this was under Reagan.
Yeah. Also they also did that with mass deportation too. You had farmers just being like, "No, you ain't fucking taking my illegal immigrant. God damn it." Right? Like, of course they're not illegal; they're undocumented, but that's what they would say.
Why do you need white man's paperwork, anyways?
Yeah, you don't. We're on stolen land. You don't need citizenship for that. There's this huge meeting in Monette, and because I covered this for the news, there's this huge meeting of small farmers in Monette, especially talking about CAFOs. And it wasn't even just small farmers; it was just community members, right? And the biggest criticism I got from people about this resolution, one of the biggest ones was, well, aligning yourselves with small farmers is aligning yourself with the petite bourgeoisie.
Who told you this?
I'm not going to say names, but I've had people tell me that, and I'm like, some of it some of it, maybe there may be a few petite bourgeois farmers out there. That doesn't matter. They're getting fucked over the
So
same thing as you and me.
what do you call a like college educated professional? Like, are they, even if they're not like technically petty bourgeoisie, even if they still work for a wage, their outlook is still petty bourgeois.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right to organize urban petty bourgeois, or like have your chapter composed mostly of urban petty bourgeois or urban professional managerial class people, but the rural areas can basically just get fucked because somebody still has their head buried in shit that was written in 1915. Am I reading you correct?
Some of it too is this huge misconception that they think a lot of, I mean, some of it is kind of true. There are a lot of like bigger like farming operations and ranching operations out here, right? That is true. But a lot of it stems like they think every farmer or every rancher is a fucking
Kulak.
big operation. Yeah, they think they all have like illegal or undocumented immigrants working for them. That's not the case. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Like
every farmer is a kulak.
We had cows literally in my town. Like most of these operations are just like families who just have a few like 10, 20 cows that they just raise, right?
How much does a cow cost?
I don't know. I know when I buy, like you can buy a cow, we have like a bunch of ground beef in our freezer. And it can cost like $1,500 just worth of meat, and it'll last you like a year.
The cow costs $1,500?
Well, the dead parts of the cow.
But how much does it cost? Like, if I want to get a cow and keep it in my backyard, how much would I be out of pocket?
Like for the cow itself or for the care?
For the cow.
I mean, you could get a cow for free if you're brave enough.
I'm not a cattle rustler. You try to get me shot?
They
still kill people over that shit.
I'm not a rancher. I don't know. I would say from what I've seen, it could cost probably, I would say a couple $100 to $1,000 maybe. Is what I would guess. But to raise it, you would have vet care, which we don't have vet insurance in this country. So, or not very good vet insurance if we did. So, maybe a farm subsidy might be the key there to if you've lost a cow. But if vet care is $1,000+, right? And of course, some of this stuff is provided by the CDC. Like you have to have mandatory vaccination. So some of it's provided by the state. Like you can't have mad cow disease doesn't have vaccination, but you can't have like diseases be spreading across the the animal population. But it costs, you might be able to get a calf for like $600, like Zach said. But you raise this cow, you feed it. That's also thousands of dollars to put into it. And if it just straight up die, that hurts you more than it hurts Tyson or Cargill.
Is that common? Right? Why would a cow just up and die?
Sometimes they just get sick and die. Sometimes they might get hunted by coyotes. Like sometimes they just die. Like I've seen cows dead on the side of the road before. Like it's not a common thing. It's not a common thing, but it does happen. Right?
That would break my heart. I've raised a little cow from a calf, and then he just ups and dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and part of it is like you don't keep them as pets. Like eventually, you're going to have to sell them to the butcher, right? Like eventually, that's going to happen. But they have to be taken care of in better conditions because you can't afford to have that loss, right?
Yeah, because people are saying like these things cost $600 and $1,000. And then if it just died, never mind all the veterinarian feed and shit like that. So you probably put $5,000, $6,000 to this thing that it just dies. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, and that's like for a company like Tyson, that's just a drop in the bag, baby. They can keep their cows as crimped as they want. The worst thing is actually part of it. The dairy industry is actually pretty bad too with this. Is that a cow ain't got milk. Like a cow just doesn't generate milk. They have to do the deed in order to get milk, right? So a lot of these cows are just systematically just raped by bulls that they bring in. And what they do, and I've heard this shit and it breaks my heart, is that in order to keep all the milk for the dairy industry, for these factory cow farms, right? They either one, they wean off the calf, which it'll die, and then they just throw the calf in with what they do with all the other cows. And that's just either they bury it or it becomes your local ground beef or veal.
Or chicken nuggets.
Now, chicken nuggets are like the pink slime that you see at McDonald's. Like, let's not. But you have that happen, and it's gruesome. And I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian.
That's fucking cruel though. Like you take the calf, like the milk is supposed to be for the baby cow, and you take the calf off the
because you want the maximum amount of profit. And
so
that calf is an inefficiency. That calf is an inefficiency. It's a redundancy. So
the little creature starves to death so that we can have milk and cereal.
Sometimes they're not even just starved to death. They just like straight up just go over there and kill it. Like,
this is fucking cruel. How evil do you have to be to look at a little cow, cute little calf, and knock it upside the head?
Exactly. So, well, they don't knock it on the head. They just cut its throat usually. But
cut the. Okay, can we please move to another topic?
Well,
are you trying to get me to join the fucking Animal Liberation Front? Let's talk about something.
Well, like we're gonna keep talking about this because it's actually relevant to what I'm saying. I'm not gonna go into graphic detail, but these
I'm sad now.
Yeah, you should be. These factory farms are also like livestock. Raising livestock is actually one of the bigger contributors to climate change and environmental destruction. Is probably, I think, the biggest, if I'm not mistaken, contributor to environmental destruction and climate change. Methane. So if you had these huge factory farms laying around, how much methane are they putting out into the atmosphere? Right?
Thousands and thousands and thousands of tons.
Exactly. I'm not even saying like, and that's a key thing of degrowth, right?
Yeah. Do you support degrowth?
I support. Well, R&R supports degrowth, so I support degrowth. And in this aspect, eliminating factory farms is an aspect of degrowth. Because
it's also tied into anti-imperialism too. Like, we're basically fucking over the rest of the world. Like, we're not going to drown. You're going to drown Legos because you want to eat a fucking hamburger every day. Like, we're going to all die because of cow farts.
And there is legitimate concern about rising meat prices and stuff if this were to happen. And my contribution to that is lab-grown meat. We already have the tech to do it. Like, you can have, like you can have these animals just be right. I'm not saying like we need to just eliminate cows from the American diet or anything like that, or cows.
Yeah, because that's unfeasible. It's not going to happen.
It's not feasible, and it's like eliminating horses, right? Like, horses technically aren't needed in modern society, right? But people still want horses. Like, it's fine.
Horses stink.
They do stink, but they're cute, so I don't mind. But you have that, and it's a huge issue. And lab grown stuff can be an alternative to factory farming. And there's going to be a lot of concern from small farmers with that too, right? But in the meantime, we must align ourselves with small farmers. We must pass right to repair, which not only affects tractors, by the way, your mechanics. You ever wonder why there aren't any small mechanic shops around anymore? Not many family-owned small mechanic shops anymore?
Why?
They all convert to like tire shops or lube shops.
Why?
Because big companies have to give you their fucking computer, like their software system. They lease out the software system, which costs tens of thousands of dollars in order for you to operate on one of their newer vehicles. So if I have like a 2024 Ford, for example, if I wanted to go to a small town, like if I had a shop, if I owned a shop and a 2024 Ford came in, right? But I ain't got the Ford license. I have maybe the BMW license, and that's all I can afford, which working on BMW is useless anyway, especially the blinkers. But let's not get into that. If I were to do that, that's costing me $10,000-$20,000 on leasing, right? So, thank you, Maiden Ren. They killed a lot of these small farmers, and now you have to drive, especially if you're out in a rural area, you have to drive 1 hour to the nearest Ford dealership to get it worked on by a Ford certified operator, right? You can't have that. That's why a lot of these former mechanic shops are now like tire, like because you don't need a fucking software update on your damn tire. Same applies with farm equipment. If you get a new John Deere tractor, you're not able to work on the software for that tractor. You have to go to a John Deere dealership, or a John Deere dealership or dealer has to come out to you. So a lot of these farmers just operate older equipment for their farms because now John Deere or Case New Holland or I don't know, fucking I don't know many other.
Same reason like a lot of mechanics, like a lot of the same reason a lot of the mechanics, they can only work on older cars.
Exactly. Because they ain't got the software. And if your farm ain't got the newest shit, you may like a lot of the way farming is going to go in the future is a lot of it's going to be automated. It's like farmers are going to turn into computer scientists pretty much. But many farmers ain't got the ability to do that because the software isn't open source. It's not given to the people. It's a lease. Free. It's a lease. And DSA should be actively fighting against these CAFOs. They should be fighting against Tyson. They should be fighting against or fighting for right to repair and many other agricultural things that's like that we tangentially support, but we don't actively have campaigns for, right? The libertarians, for example, even like somebody like freaking, I forgot his name. He's some YouTuber. He's a libertarian. He's for right to repair.
Yeah, because like if you look at it, this is something that all Americans should be able to get behind. Like it's fucking crazy if you come out of pocket to buy a huge investment like an automobile or a tractor, you cannot, like, the company continues to squeeze money out of you because they're sitting on top of essential programs that you need to work on your equipment. And then like that's a very, very easy way. Like, for example, I'm thinking international here. So you mentioned that you cannot repair a John Deere tractor without access to the John Deere company's software.
Yeah, the newer tractors.
So say the United States sends a bunch of new tractors to Burkina Faso, for example, right? And Ibrahim Traore pisses the U.S. government off. Oh, you've got a bunch of fucking beautiful scrap heaps. That's fucking dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have these people so excited. Yay, we've got
weapon system.
Yeah.
U.S. weapon systems, for example. Ukraine is going to be reliant on the U.S. military-industrial complex from now on because they can't make those Patriot missiles.
No.
They ain't got the software to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything is
so
electronic.
Even our allies are victims to our imperialism.
Yeah, like people think that all you have to do to build a missile is just screw some wires together and put a cap out. No, these are very, very, very like technologically developed devices.
Well, you can build a missile that way, but it's not going to be a good missile. It's going to be the equivalent of a Hamas
bottle
missile.
rocket.
Pretty much. A Hamas missile is literally just sugar and fertilizer. Like, let's not
stop telling people how to build missiles.
I'm not. You can find a YouTube video on it. Okay, I didn't do.
I did not make no video about how to make fucking missiles.
You didn't. I said I found one. I found a YouTube video on it.
Let's talk more about the sticks before you get me banned or censored or both, and yourself with it. So, do you think this resolution is going to do well at convention?
It should.
I think it. Yeah, I think it will.
So any caucus in my mind that doesn't support this is going to lose at-large delegates next election.
Oh yeah, you think it's that important?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, well, if you think about it, at-large delegates don't have chapters.
So most at-large delegates are rural.
Exactly.
Oh.
So
have you been court?
I thought about this, and it plays into my hand here as well, where it's just like either you support it or you're losing. You're going to lose.
Okay, so you think so have you been coordinating with other rural delegates and other at-large delegates about this?
I've had talks with like Brainerd Lakes. I've had talks with Oahu, but Oahu isn't really rural. It's just Hawaii, and they are the only ones that are able to send delegates. I've had talks with the Kansas people. A lot of people are in support of it. So it's just there's a few criticisms here and there, like the petite bourgeois.
You certainly won this city boy over.
Oh yeah, I should have. I hoped I did.
I mean, I support. Yeah, I support. Yeah, shit. The rural areas literally feed us. Like, why would I want to piss off the people who feed me?
Like, there's so much. Like, I wrote this in 2 days of just thinking. Like, if you go back to the Socialist Party, like the Socialist Party of America,
that was actually my first organization. Well, SPUSA, but
the OG. Socialist Party of America, especially down here in Crawford County, I'm not in Crawford County, in Southeast Kansas. Socialist Party of America, huge. Like, we had two state legislatures who were socialists. We elected two people who were socialists in a rural area, right? Like, we elected. There are tons of cases around the country of Socialist Party having people like the Appeal to Reason, which was the largest socialist newspaper in the country, came from Girard, Kansas, a town of like 2,000 people. So this wasn't something that just came about. It took years of organizing, especially amongst the immigrant community that came in, right? Like here, we may not have as many immigrants anymore. We may have like a sizable Black minority, like what we did with the Southeast Kansas Juneteenth Foundation. We came in, we said, "Hey, we're with you guys," and now we were able to have a booth at the Southeast Kansas Juneteenth Foundation. We helped organize it, and while we didn't get many signups from it, I wouldn't never drop that in a heartbeat, because you build trust in the community, right? Yeah. And that wouldn't have came about. I mean, that wouldn't have came about organically had the Lebec County Commission not de-recognized Juneteenth. Like we had
dialectics.
Talk about, yeah, it is. I call these crisis points for like
turn a bad thing into a good thing.
Exactly, and because the state, like the bourgeoisie, is going to give us the rope to hang them with. It is our job.
Now you're talking about hanging people. Is your intention to get my stream banned?
No, I'm not. It's a phrase.
In 5 minutes, I know it's a phrase. I'm trolling you.
Okay.
In 5 minutes, you talked about making missiles, and now you're talking about hanging folks.
The bourgeoisie gives us the tools to kill them, right? I'm not saying we're going to go out and just murk Elon Musk on the street.
Bro, I've said, go ahead. I've said far worse things here.
But it's accelerationism. Like, if they're going to be, I'm not saying we need to have conditions get worse, but they're going to play right into our hands. We gotta pick. Like, if they're going to give us the gun, we gotta pull the trigger, right? Like, we have to be able to do that. Like, we had one in Coffeyville, which I actually walked with the Coffeyville workers in 2021 a John Deere strike as well. But the city was wanting to de-recognize the city employees unions for the firefighters, the city utilities and stuff like that, which unfortunately put us in the position where we had to help kind of defend the police union too, because we can't just have
what?
We didn't defend the police union. We just said they're going to de-recognize for the city's unions. So it wouldn't have made any sense for us to just go like, oh, just fuck the police union, not like the firefighters, right? Like we had to do that, which sucks. And I really wanted to fucking go after police union, but the city had this crisis point. It didn't go as far as we wanted. We put a phone zap out there and had the city manager retract his retract his ways. Let's just say, like, that city administrator, we put a phone zap out like next day, got a bunch of phone calls in. Oh, guess what? He miraculously had a negotiation with the city unions, and now they're all recognized still.
Interesting.
But since that crisis point didn't go further, we didn't get any members from that. I don't care. I don't care. Is defending the defenseless in the instant, and of course, unions are more defensive than your your single mom, but they're still under attack from the state.
So you
and the point of Trotskyism, and this aligns with my Trotskyist thought, is that you have to be able to take these crisis points and you turn it into a broader revolutionary struggle.
That's not just Trotskyism. That's just good politics.
Yeah. Well, that's called the transitional method. Like Bangladesh was a good example of that. Even though it wasn't a socialist movement. It started as a movement of students against like not getting their government benefits that they were supposed to get, and then they just like evolved into them overthrowing the government, right? So broader struggle requires that little catalyst point. It requires that catalyst point. So that's what
requires. My position would be like it requires like a serious. As Lenin said that like there's really no hope for a revolutionary movement to triumph unless the ruling class can no longer rule in the old way and the working class can no longer live in the old way. So
if you're going to make it hard for us to live, then you will not live. Like you will not live in your same form.
Yeah, it's not just one flashpoint. Like it's several. Like for example, we've got a literal war on immigrants. We've got black people continuing to be murdered by the police and thrown in prison for nothing. We've got continued expenses. Like shit is getting more and more and more expensive despite Trump. Like despite these idiots shuffling to the polls like zombies, talking about grocery. I want free grocery.
We have wars paid by our tax dollars that are killing literal family members of our citizens.
Yeah,
and it's even killing our citizens.
Yeah. And you've got of course, like I just saw on Twitter, a little Palestinian baby girl's head, like full of shrapnel, like with our tax dollars, like all types of horrible things. So it's going to be multiple things. And the main
hospitals closing en masse. That's why it's important for this to happen is we can't, because had those guys, like those petite bourgeois farmers that you were talking about earlier, had they had somebody to guide them, they wouldn't have been white supremacists. They wouldn't have blamed it on the Jews, right? They wouldn't have, because they would have been aligned with class war. Not
you got to push back a little bit on. Got to push back on you a little bit about that. Those farmers never being white supremacists. Like white supremacy. I'm not saying they weren't never. Yeah, white supremacy is endemic in the soil of the United States. Like it doesn't matter how much socialists yammer about class struggle to them.
But had they had a guiding hand, like they may have still been white supremacists, but it would have been aligned with the class movement, right?
White supremacy aligned with the class movement?
No. Okay, I'm very bad at explaining this. So like they would have still had like their racist point of views, right? But they would have realized they're getting fucked over. But like what Luigi Mangione did, right? There are people across the political spectrum. There were fucking Nazis that praised Luigi Mangione, man. And there were socialists that praised Luigi Mangione. That's what I'm saying. It goes beyond ideology. It is a class war. Well, I'm not saying align ourselves with the Nazis. I'm not saying do that. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but maybe I'm just a doomer when it comes to white people.
Well, R&R, with R&R, like we use this example because it's called Reform and Revolution, and it's because we push for reforms that can lead to revolution. So R&R members, especially in Austin DSA, they pushed for the city council to pass a police reform, knowing full well the police union would be against it. And when these rational reforms to rational liberals came about and the police union threw a fucking fit about it, that pushed people to realize the police weren't on their side in that instance. And here's another thing: the police, like Zach puts up a good point. Like socialists, like the KKK used to just kill socialists in our area, but
there were no more black people around to kill.
No, they were just all Italians and shit at the time. There were black people around. I mean, Parsons, for example, the civil rights movement started in Parsons. Not a lot of people know this. The gay rights movement started in Parsons, Kansas. It's a long story. So
the civil rights movement and the gay rights movement started in a town in Kansas nobody's heard of.
Exactly. I can go. How long do you have?
We can do 2 hours. This is interesting history. I've never even heard of Parsons, Kansas.
Yeah, so Parsons, Kansas. I'll start with the civil rights movement. There's a school called Douglas School. It's no longer there. It's now called Glenwood Park. It got torn down, but it used to be Kansas. Had better education for black people at the time because black people in Kansas would just keep suing the state government for funding and winning. I mean, Brown v. Board, for example, started in Kansas. It was a Topeka case. There's a school called Douglas School, ran by a guy, Dr. Levi Watkins is his name. It was one of the best black schools in the world. Eventually, of course, like I'm not going to go into the whole thing. And this was a thing his son told us about during a Juneteenth celebration. He would become the president of Alabama State College. Now I think it's Alabama State University. His wife became friends with this seamstress. Her name was Rosa Parks. But Rosa Parks told them about this new preacher who came into town. His name is Martin Luther King Jr. Now, Martin Luther King Jr., of course, Dr. Watkins, sorry, I'm blinking. Dr. Watkins, his model that started at Douglas School he implemented it at Alabama State College, and a lot of HBCUs proceeded to copy his model. So a lot of people like SNCC, a lot of people in SNCC, a lot of people in the Panthers were educated from the same model that started in Parsons, Kansas. So I guess you could say indirectly, yes, the civil rights movement started in Parsons, Kansas. Gilbert Baker, who is a maker of the pride flag, was born in Chanute, Kansas, raised in Parsons, Kansas. Eventually would go on to set the pride flag in San Francisco.
Ho Chi Minh thought was grown from the study of John Brown in Bleeding, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Mao was also from Kansas.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah. It's fascinating. So, Are you eating corn chips?
No. I shit.
Oh, okay. You got a little fidget cube. I'm doing that too. But I've got like random shit, like a hotel tube of toothpaste.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not saying everything stems from Kansas, but like a lot of this shit you don't think about started around these areas. Like how I said with the rural grocery store. Zoran literally called the operator of, like Zoran's campaign literally called the operator of Erie Market. Because I asked them. That's like, hey, did you ever get any calls from New York? And New York was like, yeah, like we got calls from New York. And I know fucking Eric Adams at the time wasn't the one piloting rural grocery stores. So it only left one possibility. It only left Zoran's campaign. So those ideas, like Worcester, Massachusetts, is about to going through 2 ideas.
Worcester.
Yeah, Worcester. But fucking Worcester. I'm from fucking Boston, right? Worcester had 2 grocery stores shut down recently. They're thinking about having city-run grocery stores.
Okay.
Kansas is full of just city-run cooperative grocery stores too. It's not every town, but Lawrence has one. Like we love our commie grocery stores down here.
Yeah. I would not mind nationalizing Schnucks and Deerbergs and
nationalize Walmart.
Save a lot of St. Louis. Nationalize shit. Yeah, of course. Like, there's
That's
no
like,
way. There is no way that a private corporation should have so much control over how people live.
yeah,
There is no
Walmart
fucking way.
alone is what, the second largest employer in the United States after the fucking military?
Yeah.
That's not.
Of course the military is the largest of course the military is the largest single employer in the United States. So so back to the resolution.
Mhm.
It passes. Imagine you are going to be a major part of this working group since it's all your idea after all.
I hope
So
so.
yeah, one thing I would definitely like to see do is like DSA funding of speaking tour for rural organizers to like one so we can bounce ideas off each other. Like a
It's
lot
not
of people
even.
don't.
It's yeah. It's not even just starting their own chapters, because there's a huge, like, if you look at Central Indiana DSA, for example, there's a huge swath of it that's not Indianapolis that they just have. So some of it could just be starting branches. So if you have bigger chapters out like Central Indiana, like Wichita, you can help organize the branches. And I've even advised people who like I'm not taking credit for Pinal County DSA out in Arizona, but they asked if I had any tips. I was like, the way I started, I just observed a few meetings from a nearby chapter. I just tuned in online in a few meetings, kind of replicated what they did, adapted it to my local conditions. And then how I started was I actually went on the Democratic Party's like Facebook pages and shit and advertised, hey, I'm starting this shit. And I got my first few members there. And then from there, we just been
Started out
organized.
by recruiting Democrats, huh?
I had to. I didn't have many options.
Fair.
Because there's no, like, people aren't openly socialist around here usually. And that too, the university, we've gotten shit from the Republicans. When I was organizing for the university, we're the only university that I know that has had full divestment from Israel, because it was one protest, and it wasn't like, it's nothing special that we did. It's just that the administration was just receptive. Is Pitt State was just receptive to it, and it was only $400,000 out of the endowment anyway.
Yeah.
So it really sucks that only that much, but
Your Trotskyists that you're using Maoist methods, mass line work, and social investigation and class analysis. You want to, you did some investigation, you did research, you attended meetings of Topeka DSA, and you went to where you figured the most advanced masses would be, which in your particular unique set of your particular unique concrete conditions would be local Democrats.
yeah, local Democrats, and the idea would eventually become. Oh yeah, Truman, you're right. I just didn't think we didn't, because I'm on Palcom. We haven't heard anybody say they got full divestment. Of course, we still have Sabra and stuff at Pitt State, so it's like not. Yeah, thank you, Chloe. So we have we have to adapt it to local conditions. One could call it socialism with your local characteristics, I guess you could say. But I'm following the Trotskyist line in the sense of like pushing for the larger thing. Pitt State as well. We have groups like these like they're the identity groups, like your Black Student Union, like your Hispanics of Today, Gender Sexuality Alliance type shit, right? We had these groups. They couldn't afford to be political because they're 501c3s. They get their funding from the university. So you know what we did? I didn't even force them to march under YDSA. I was like, let's form our own group. You're marching as individuals who just happen to be members of these groups, but you're not representing the group.
We found a workaround for them, huh? So that they didn't get in trouble.
We found a workaround. We held
the time they were still doing what they needed to do.
We held a 2-mile march. We called this group Campus Coalition. We held a 2-mile march from one side of campus to this thing called the Carver League, which was where the Black Student Union meets, because back then they weren't allowed to meet at Pitt State campus because of segregation. So they formed they literally built a house where they meet at, and it had some work done on it, and now they meet there now. We ended it there. The university has vowed, we haven't gotten it in writing, but they have been able to keep their word, at least so far, to protect students from ICE, to protect our international students and our BIPOC brothers and sisters over there. Of course, I graduated, and we have a new campus president, so time will only tell. But YDSA,
Really?
But Campus Coalition formed that, and optically they're following shit. Like, they renamed our Office of Inclusion and Belonging to the Center of Campus Engagement, because they had to remove belonging and diversity from the name, but it functions the same way. It functions.
Was that Trump shit? Like, Trump literally made them do
that? For grants, probably they probably had to, but like the thing
so
functions.
Fucked up.
The office functions the same way. It's just under a different name. Like, they've had to do it before.
That's so fucked up.
It is. It straight up is. But it's because our campus administration was so receptive. If our campus administration was so receptive, it would have been a disaster for a campus, because had we been able to set up an encampment, there's only 50 cops in all the city of Pittsburgh, plus like maybe 4 or 5 campus PD. Had I got 150 students, we could have overwhelmed campus.
Oh dear, you're a very spicy Trot. You know that?
Well, I thought about it. I thought about it.
Overwhelming your campus.
It wouldn't have been very hard to do. It's just I didn't want to have to pull that trigger, you know.
You start to think. You think like the fucking OG. You think like Trotsky himself. Like, I thought Trots was soft, but here you are talking about overwhelming campuses and pulling triggers and making missiles.
I'm not.
Good. If all Trots were like you, I would not have a problem with Trots.
For my own security, I am not suggesting anybody do this.
I know.
But no, like, this is just like it's real shit. Like, it had campus not been receptive, we would have been forced to escalate, but we didn't, and we united these groups under a common banner now.
Bro, I fucking love. If all Trots were like you, I would not have a problem with Trots.
No, the thing with Trots is we also tend to hate other Trots too. So, like, let's.
Sounds like Maoist. You're not even a Trot. You're a Maoist. You're a Maoist in denial.
I already went through the R&R program, so I was a
Trotskyist. A lot of people don't know this. I was a Trotskyist for like 2 months. Yeah, or like right when I first started getting into leftism. I read the Transitional Program. I read the Revolution Betrayed, which I threw in the trash in a fit of rage. Like, I read all that shit, but then I met actual Trots, and I was like, yeah, these are not the people that I want to spend the rest of my life.
I have Ferguson, Palestine in the beginnings of a movement by Angela Davis, literally right next to me right now. Ooh. I read that. You
like that old revisionist, huh?
I just like, it's Angela, dude. I don't like, I have tons of shit that I may not agree with that I just read.
Why DSA Trots? So I bet, like, why DSA anything is better than others.
Yeah.
Let's see what books I have next to me. I've got The Black Bourgeoisie by E. Franklin Frazier. Yeah. I've got some Sakai.
If you want two good, especially Kansas rural organizing books, there is one called "What's the Matter with Kansas" by
a lot.
Yeah, well, okay, Missouri. Like, let's not know your place. But
fucking Jayhawker.
What's the Matter with Kansas is one. The other one is called "Where the Sunflowers Bloom Dread," Kansas and the Foundations of Socialism in the United States. It was actually made by our former librarian at Pittsburgh State University. Helped make that. Research for that. Pittsburgh had a mass mobilization of women called the March of the Amazon Army. 500.
It was in the 70s, wasn't it?
No, it was in the 20s.
The 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like some 70s radical feminist stuff. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Well,
The March of the Amazon Army.
Yeah, I made a video on it. I don't want to show it here because there are people here who I don't want to see my face, just because of my Twitch streaming. I could send you a small little video on it. Actually,
I would appreciate it.
Just send you the fucking website. Let me do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can actually just send you the website.
I'm not going to put your face on stream.
They have a whole website.
Don't want one of your political enemies to come and tip over your cows.
That's fine. Oh my god. Or mine, just not wanting to work. I'll send it to you on Discord.
Excellent.
I'll do that.
So, is there anything else that you're
AmazonArmy.com.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a union organizing effort.
Well, it was. It wasn't. It was because the Kansas national government was locking up a bunch of union workers, and the wives of the union workers got pissed off and decided to just roll up on the mines. Okay. And it throw black pepper in the fucking eyes of scabs. Like it was nuts. They had to bring in the National Guard.
Yeah, and that was pretty much their MO back then. They brought the National Guard in to break up the St. Louis Commune of 1877 too.
Yeah. Well, they also brought in the National Guard to try to break up Minneapolis. So there's this book that we read in R&R called Teamsters Rebellion. It's about the atrocities group that, it's about the I think Communist League of America that came in to one of the Teamster unions over in Minneapolis and organized it. And they organized it to using what we call the transitional method to have a full-fledged general strike on Minneapolis where they had to call in a National Guard. And what they did was the farmer labor governor, on paper, you still had to be pro-labor if you were a farmer labor party, even if you weren't. Yeah. On paper, you had to be. So they would
now they're the DFL. They merged with the Democrats. Then now it's the DFL.
Yeah,
they're basically the Democrats.
But back then it was the FL. It was just the FL. They would aim for the bourgeoisie, and then they let the DFL governor get in the way, and in the pig union leadership get in the way, and by doing that, they discredited all their authority.
There's some pretty heavy stuff in R&R.
Yeah. No, like the only downside to being in R&R is that we are stubborn as fuck.
Most trots are. Most Maoists are.
That's why I'm saying
this is the longest conversation I've had with the Trotskyists without us yelling at each other.
Yeah, well, it's because I don't have any, like, I don't care who I have to work with, aside, as long as you're not like an outright Nazi. If you're just like a good person, I will work with you. Like
I can't be a Nazi. I don't have the Nazi skin color, so I can't be a Nazi.
Oh, Kanye West.
Well, yeah, but he is he's different.
The mayor of Erie, Kansas, for example, he's an independent. Like he's this down to earth guy who's just like runs a mechanic shop like anybody else. He doesn't care who he has to work with. He's just out here for what's best with his. He was willing to work with us. Like I told him, like, dude, we're socialists. I don't want you to come under fire, but like we are socialists. If you want our help, that will be the case because we will be open about it. He's like, I don't fucking care. I don't freaking care who I have to work with. I'm like, okay.
So I imagine I will be seeing you at convention in a few weeks.
Yeah, I am a delegate, which I will be. I am suggesting, and I will use this platform that has been granted to me. People will need to vote Sarah for NPC.
There's nothing wrong with the bit of caucus poll. I haven't seen anything bad from Sarah, actually.
Yeah, well, that's what like we already saw Liberation's thing today, and we were like, God fucking damn it, they didn't endorse Sarah. We were just like,
Y'all are trots. What do you expect?
well,
I still like
that's
Sarah though.
that's the thing. Am I the first R&R member you've had a discussion with?
I'm pretty sure you are.
Like, I saw your conversation with Seed, that the mug program,
Sid?
like, yeah, Sid CW. The program that you liked was an R&R in mug project.
I know.
Mm-hmm. So we put in the work. Like we're not like other trotskyist groups who just come in and do wrecker shit, right? Like we are principled. We are principled. We are willing to work with Maoists, for example. Like I've suggested this in the past, is to work with Liberation sometimes,
Work
as
with
long
us
as
on
it's
what?
not like some like for me, it's just like the fucking DSA right, it's just whatever. But not you guys. You guys aren't DSA right. Not you guys, but like SMC for
I
the
hope
North
we're
Star.
not. That the only way liberation will be on the DSA right is if we have a literal fucking Gonzalowite caucus.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was like. If you guys are on DSA right, something's wrong.
Yeah,
Or we
I
have
mean
progressed
DSA
as a
is.
society so far beyond that it wouldn't like.
Yeah, but yeah, I've talked to Sarah a few times. She's pretty cool. It's very rare that I do not have a bad word to say about somebody, but I don't think I can. I don't think I have any bad words about Sarah. But
So
yeah.
like if you just have like, and even if you have um if you were caucus or something, like we're down to the wire. I'm not saying vote Sarah 1, vote Sarah 2. I get everybody has their own convictions. Throw Sarah out. Like throw Sarah out there if you have a spare vote. Like if we have an extra slot. Because R&R,
Spare
we're
change for Sarah. Spare change for Sarah.
In the very least. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I'm just saying. I mean, I am going to say ranker number 1, but
What's the difference? What's the difference between R and B and R?
Bread and roses are they're more emphasized on the union labor movement. R&R, from what I know, and I'm not the expert on this. I'm not an expert on. I've only been in R&R since March, but they're more emphasized on labor movement, and they're also post Trotskyists or not Trotskyists. Apparently, they also have their own like right, left, and center faction, as well as we are all probably well aware of. R&R, we are emphasized on mass organizing, more mass organizing in the workers' revolution. That's actually kind of what distances us from Mug a bit. Is that Mug wants more of a democratic revolution, like emphasize on the Constitution, which I'm not going to put anybody on blast here, but if you were to change the Constitution, the socialists would already have power in that instance. You wouldn't even have to like that would be a goal that we have.
You draft an entirely new Constitution.
Exactly. Yeah. We would be able to,
like if we were in a position to actually fuck with the Constitution, like
we'd be in a
position to do yeah.
And that's my biggest criticism of Mug, aside from how much they read. But
nothing wrong with reading. Do you see the giant stack of books behind me?
Yeah.
Of
it's
books
just,
behind me.
I was a student at the time, and I didn't have time, so I was like, I was originally going to join Mug actually, because I heard I didn't even know anything about the caucuses really. I was just like, oh, these guys seem like the biggest one on the DSA left, and then I was like, oh, that's a lot of reading. I'm not gonna fucking do that.
Yeah, Sid pulled out that big ass fucking blue book, and I'm like, bro, this is a dictionary. But so how long had you been in DSA before you joined R&R?
I was in DSA for probably roughly a year.
That's a suitable amount of time, like so that you know like how DSA works. Like if you don't know how,
I didn't even know there were caucuses.
Like if you don't know how to draft a resolution, you have no business being in a fucking caucus.
Well, R&R is what taught me to draft the resolution.
Yeah, like I mean, caucuses will teach you stuff, but you should have at least a working knowledge of DSA's processes before clicking up in a caucus.
Yeah.
That's what we tell people. That's what we tell people that want to join Liberation. Like we've had people apply that literally are not even in DSA. I'm like, what? So you're not in DSA? What use will you be? You can't vote.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, the entryism to the PSL, like, or FRSO, like.
No, we don't do entryism.
I know we're not socialist alternative in parts. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the most trifling, low down. Like if you can't build your own base, why would you go and try to parasitically glom off somebody else? That's just dirty to me.
I founded the Southeast Kansas chapter and the Guerrilla YDSA chapter before I even joined a caucus.
The what? What? The what?
Guerrilla YDSA. That's the name
Guerrilla
of the Pittsburgh
YDSA.
one. Because Pittsburgh State University, I thought I told you this. Pittsburgh State University is the only school in the nation that has a gorilla as a mascot.
Oh, I thought you meant the other type of gorilla.
No, we thought about that. We thought about calling it gorilla as like a pun, like the GUER, but we knew the university probably wouldn't let that happen. So we were like, okay, let's just.
Trots don't do guerrilla warfare.
That's some bullshit.
Stealing our valor. Where have Trots done a guerrilla war at?
Not just guerrilla war, dude. Trots literally defeated fascists in Russia. Like,
that's partisan war. Well, I guess
that's Trotsky himself who beat fascists in Russia.
How could Trotsky have beat fascism in Russia before when he left? Like when he had left Russia.
I think Trotsky. No. We're talking about the Black Hundreds.
Yeah, proto-fascists.
Yeah, they're still
nasty fucking.
If they took power, you think they wouldn't have been fascists? Like that's what
proto-fascists. They would have been proto-fascists, but like they weren't like originally like they weren't hardcore ideologically committed fascists. They were just assholes running around doing pogroms and all types of other horrible shit. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't have an ideology. I don't really think it was just like
shit.
Yeah, they did fascist type shit, but I wouldn't call them ideological fascists. They were just assholes.
I mean, I don't really know because I don't really know what where Trotskyists have engaged in guerrilla warfare or not. But I do know is that the ideas aren't too dissimilar. It's just ours are more like mass organization built around the workers' state. That's from what I gather. Compared to just like a democratic revolution or just a plain old workers' revolution. Like that's kind of why, this resolution was endorsed by R&R. Like I was even a member of R&R when I wrote this. R&R was the first caucus to endorse it, is because they believe in the emphasis of a mass organization. Because you have to have the industrial. That's what the hammer and sickle is. The hammer is for the industry. The sickle is for the farmers.
Now you've got me interested in these Black Hundreds. So this author.
No, don't be interested in Black Hundreds. Don't.
No what?
Don't join the Black Hundreds.
Why the fuck would I do that?
I'm just joking.
100-year-old dead fascist organization, semi-fascist,
start one up,
proto-fascist. Right? Yeah, he makes the argument. Those are the people that really. Yeah, they were extremely anti-Semitic. They were monarchist, all-around reactionary. So I guess the argument could be made that they were proto-fascists. I mean, if we could say that America has always been a fascist country, then sure, we can say that the Black Hundreds were fascist.
If you call Patriot fascists, you can call fucking Black Hundreds fascists.
One thing about fascism is that it's very, very good at reinventing itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, that's another thing. So. We're talking about like neo-Nazis, especially out on the boonies.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why I have this huge outlook, especially around guerrilla warfare and shit like that, is because we have to be prepared in the event that Patriot Front or which I've seen signed like stickers from Patriot Front around the area. I know they're around here. I don't know where the fuck they are, but I know they're here. We have to wait. Like we have to be prepared in the event that they show up to one of our protests. Like we have to. And the best way to prevent them from showing up to one of the protests, fucking show the strap, dude. Like I ain't here to start no fights, but I am here to finish them. If you're going to do that,
I hope you've researched the appropriate gun laws. Is there an SRA in your area?
Kansas, you can open carry with no license.
Is there an SRA in your area? Are you
We
familiar
tried
with these?
starting one. We tried starting one, but we are now the SRA, pretty much.
Okay, so you are at least somewhat familiar enough with these things to not blow your dick off. Okay,
Yes, dude. I live in the boonies. I go deer hunting. Like,
just making sure.
yeah,
I'm
like
doing my
I
duty
had
as the I'm doing my duty as the Maoist unk.
I took a hunter safety course when I was 11.
Were
Got
you
my
in
first.
Were you in the 4-H club?
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
My parents tried getting me to join, but I just never. There wasn't a 4-H like school club that I was interested in.
yeah. I hope you didn't find my irritating questions about rural life and how much a cow
No,
costs too
no,
degrading.
no, I like it because a lot of people don't know.
I don't. The
Like,
only time I've seen a cow is in a hamburger.
like, like straight up. I would fucking die to even just have a normal train to take me to Kansas City or Springfield. I would die to
Gotta
have
get
that.
you gotta so in like there's no method of mass conveyance any type
Um,
of way where you are.
maybe
Like no train.
Maybe the Greyhound bus, but other than that, like you have to take a car. You're pretty much
Jesus
fucked.
Christ.
Like I have a friend who doesn't drive. Granted, he lives in a town that's big enough to where he can just walk around everywhere and kind of like have all his needs met. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the
But if
beauty of
you
some small towns is that
yeah,
some small towns are pretty walkable anyway. But
yeah. But like if you need someone like I mean if you need to go someplace that requires a car, you're basically dependent on somebody else's mercy. That's no good.
exactly,
Yeah.
you have to have a car. If you don't have a car and you commute to work, which a lot of people do, so um, like a lot of the smaller towns, they're not too far from a bigger city. People usually work in the bigger city. If you don't have that car, you're fucked. There's no
Yeah, you
bus
can't get
system.
no yeah, you can't get no job. So you're basically your whole life
Mm-hmm.
is turned upside down.
Mm-hmm. I had to deal with that the hard way because I didn't want to drive, but there weren't
This
many
shit's
jobs in the
scary.
community I grew up in, so I had to suck it up and drive.
Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Whereas in New York, there are people that just don't have driver's licenses.
You don't need to. The train takes you. Or Chicago, LA,
Exactly,
like fucking train and bus
exactly.
takes you everywhere. You don't
I'm
need
not
no
even
car.
saying.
It's more of a
I
pain
mean,
in the matter of fact, it's more of a pain in the ass. St. Louis used to have streetcars too. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
They ripped them all up because the auto industry told them to.
No,
But
actually, I could send you this too. Um, there used to be streetcar systems in towns that we grew up like around here. They used to have streetcar systems. Let me.
yeah, St. Louis used to have streetcars. My grandma actually got in a fight with a white lady on
And
one and
I
got
don't
kicked
live
out.
in these cities. Like I don't.
Huh. AJ went away. This is what happens when you
Here
live
we
in a
go.
place where you have horses.
Oh no. What happened was I went to a different tab to grab you a link. So I'm still here.
Oh,
Because we had that issue earlier. There used to be streetcar systems that used to like the rural areas of America used to have immense public transit.
in Parsons, Kansas, another
Like
place I've never heard of.
yeah, Parsons used to have a streetcar system that Parsons, Kansas used to have a streetcar system that used to take you from there to like 30 minutes, which is like Independence, Coffeeville, and then down to Nowata, Oklahoma. That's probably roughly 100 miles. Maybe
Fascinating.
maybe yeah. It used to have a route. That route doesn't exist anymore. Even though parts of down, if you go down downtown Parsons right now, there's like this overhang that used to be where the streetcar is. Like it now, it's used as like now all the cars themselves go under it, but they used to have them.
Yeah. These are our streetcars. Well, what they used to, I think
Yeah,
they took them out in like 65 or 66. But
yeah.
like,
No,
I think that's not the Hodiamont tracks. But like, I've recognized a lot of these parts of town. And like, when you if you come to St. Louis, like in certain parts of town, you'll see like the road, and then like it'll dip, and then you'll see the streetcar tracks. But yeah, my grandma actually got in a fight on one of these fuckers and got put off right after she came here.
That's so funny. Actually, like in Pittsburgh used to have one of these too. And they, when they do road work, you can find like the old brick road. You could see where the tracks were.
Yeah,
because they're
the tracks
these big indentations in the road.
Yeah, the tracks are still there up under the street. Look at what they took from us.
Yeah, they just built them. It's so stupid. I fucking hate that. I fucking hate the automotive industry for this shit that they pulled.
Yeah.
Buying these things out. And
like it would have been so like this is good for disabled people. This is good for people that have like anxiety. Like driving anxiety is a thing. I have it.
Yeah.
Like this is good.
And
this
also,
we'll bring it back.
Another thing with rural
city
America is that, especially around here, a lot of the population's older.
Yeah. See, this is a person. I know where all of this shit is.
If you haven't got public transit, you're fucked. Like
I think is a Scientology thing now.
Or if you're not able to drive.
Look at this. Look at what they stole from us.
It's not a fucking parking lot.
Yeah, look at what they stole.
It looks like a living, breathing thing.
Yes.
Exactly.
I get sad when I look at videos of old St. Louis, because like when you look at pictures or videos, like the city looks full. Like a lot of the city now is like it's just empty. Like this city used to have 1 million people within city limits.
Isn't St. Louis like a fifth of the population it once had? Right? Isn't it like down to 200K
we only have
now?
The city was built for. I think at our peak, we might have had like 850,000 people living within the city limits, but now we've only got like 320,000. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's basically shrunk immensely.
That's
insane. A lot of that is white flight. A lot of that is
Rust Belt victimization.
Yeah. A lot of that is white flight. A lot of that is middle class Black people leaving the city. St. Louis had the same thing.
They all went to Wentzville.
What the fuck do you know about Wentzville? You have family up here or something?
No, I don't have family I know that goes. I just know shit. I knew there was the UAW strike at Wentzville, and I know Wentzville is a very white suburb of St. Louis.
Yeah, there's quite a few Black people there actually that have been there since slavery era. So,
so how would all this stuff on the rural resolution be applied? And this is kind of where I'm not sure, because there are a few ways this can go. Well, there are a few ways this can go. One is the amendment to it passes under the GDC, which I am okay with if the GDC is more open, which they've seemed to have been more recently, but I need assurances. And the way you can assure this is you vote for R&R's growth and member-driven growth and development committee resolution, which would allow stuff like the stuff that is legit common sense for DSA that we should have been doing, is like finding people who live in like adjacent zip codes and then holding a training for DSA members who don't even know they're in a chapter, right? Like, or who could form a chapter, holding trainings for these people to help them develop a chapter, right? That's what that resolution would also entail. So if that passes, it also makes the Growth and Development Committee more open. Then we have the rural organizing aspect of it isn't going to be neutered, because quite frankly, while I'm a Trotskyist, right, I know my ideas aren't going to work everywhere, and the rural working group has to function as a non-ideological entity.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you allow people from various factions to dominate with their factional warfare, they're eventually going to pull it apart. and I don't think you want that to
They're
happen.
gonna pull it apart. And what happens if one faction just wins over? Like, I don't know what the fucking SMC is going to do with rural organizing. Like, I don't even think they care about that shit, right? So, like, I have to play a. Sorry, no shot to some of the SMC comrades, but yeah, kind of a shot. Not even gonna lie. It has to be member driven. It has to have involvement from people who are dedicated to this organizing. Like, I'm not on the GDC yet, so I don't know if I'm going to run it. But I need to have people I can trust to run it because this is my baby, right? This is my big contribution to DSA as a national movement. And quite frankly, since land votes in this country through the Electoral College, we have to do this because it's much easier to do this than it is to overturn the Electoral College.
Yeah, definitely agree. But this is somebody that's listened to you talk about this is somebody who really, really supports your resolution. I'd hate to see it I hate to see it get fucked up by sectarian bullshit and infighting. Like, this is something that we should be able to pull together on.
Yeah. So the option is either the R&R amendment goes through, the R&R resolution goes through, then I am confident in voting the amended version of having the rural working group under GDC. If it doesn't, then I'm no longer confident because I need to have assurances that this group is going to meet its potential and is not neutered. Because quite frankly, rural organizing was already under GDC's direction, and
they didn't do anything. And they didn't do anything regarding it.
Well, if they did, it wasn't very robust. So we need to have a robust, because there's a rural revolution going on in DSA right now. Like, we have Central Tennessee doing shit, or Northwest Tennessee having success. We're having fucking like Mesa County, Colorado, Southeast Missouri, even DSA Ozarks. They're all coming back. Yeah. Places where the working class is and breathes is not just the cities. It's not just Starbucks. It's not just the fucking auto line or at the schools. It's the people who are working your fields. It's the people who are working as waitresses for $2.50 an hour, who are single moms. It is everywhere in this country. And yes, they may not align with me ideologically, but I do not care. Like, the whole point at the end of the day of some of this mutual aid, aside from it just being good work, is good faith with the community. So, like, let's go back to Zach, for example. If I'm providing school supplies for your kids, are you going to vote for somebody who's not going to vote, like, provide school supplies for your kids? Are you going to vote for somebody who's not providing, like, food, like a after-school program for your kids? Are you not going to vote for somebody who's providing food for your family?
People are going to vote for whoever they think gives a shit about them and whoever has demonstrated that they give a shit about them.
Exactly. And there is no politician from the Democratic Party, aside from maybe like a few, like, but they're up in New York and shit, right? A few from the urban movements who give a shit, right? Even the fucking Republicans in Kansas or the Democratic Party, which a lot of Democratic Party around here are old. They're out of touch. They have this like finger wag mentality towards fascism. I'm going to annihilate. I'm going to eat them alive, and I'm going to form my own party, and I'm going to become the opposition.
Oh, okay, little Trotsky.
That is my plan. And they will either get with it or they're going to get the fuck out of, like they're going to move on over, or we'll move on over them. Like, this isn't an option.
Seriously, just quote Snick.
Yes, I did.
You know some shit, buddy. I fuck with you, little Trotsky. If all Trots were like you, I would love Trots.
Like, we have to do this. And like, part of it's just good work. Like COVID, for example. When we were in COVID, we had the Comrade program that Native American reservations get, which isn't always sufficient, but it's like food distribution. It's food box distribution. We don't got that now. Ain't got Comrades now very much. Like, I love doing that shit. And if I love doing it, then I'm gonna do it. I don't care if you vote for me, but I want you to.
So because you do plan on running for you do plan on running for office one day, huh?
No, I don't. I'm not. I am not. I leave that to others. I'm not a
You should. I mean, you're a damn good talker, and you're very smart. You're definitely gonna be. You're
I'm
definitely gonna be.
autistic, and I am not a very good
So is Elon
public
Musk.
speaker. Don't
So is
know.
like that. Really is not. Don't let those things handicap you. Like we need a lot of. We need younger comrades to actually get out here and get in
I
front of these things. Like
I see myself as a movement builder. I don't see myself as a politician. I leave the politician stuff to Zach, and Zach is even a movement builder. Like Zach is very involved. Like he's published more about DSA on his social media than fucking like Zoran has probably. Like that's so funny because it has less impact.
I just wouldn't sell yourself short, buddy. But I definitely think
I'm not selling myself short. I have a role to play, and I'm playing that role.
Fair. You know yourself better than I do. But I definitely look forward to seeing you become more of a leader in DSA because we do need a diverse array of voices, and I think you have a damn good one. So I look forward to seeing you at convention, and if you are a delegate watching this, I also look forward to seeing you at convention. So, do you have anything you want to wrap up with, AJ?
Organize, be prepared, because we are coming, and DSA is now flexing its political muscle like it hasn't before. And either you are going to be with us or we are going to just steamroll you. And that is my message to the Democratic Party. That is my message to the fucking coastal elitists who look upon all of us like we're fucking hicks out in the middle of nowhere.
I don't live on a coast. I'm a hick.
Like, you know what I mean? Like to the urban elitists who look upon us like we're all just uneducated people. We are coming, and you are going to have to get with it, because if not, I have played it to where you will lose at large delegates because of this shit. Like, this isn't an option. You have to get with us, or you're going to get blown out.
Looks like protracted People's War is universal after all. He's going to surround the cities from the countryside.
Permanent revolution, baby. Like, let's do this shit.
Yeah, as long as it happens, I don't give a shit what you do. You as well, AJ.